The drama surrounding Tua Tagovailoa and Shedeur Sanders feels less like a football story and more like the opening act of a Hollywood thriller. It begins on a humid Miami night, the season opener under the merciless glare of primetime lights. Millions watched as the Dolphins unraveled. 2 brutal interceptions, a back-breaking fumble, and with every mistake, the belief in Tua seemed to evaporate in real time. By the time the final whistle blew, Miami hadn't just lost a game. They had lost their faith. According to insiders, ownership wasted no time. Within hours, executives were ordered into a secure conference room. Cell phones confiscated, security posted at the doors. The directive was simple: find a quarterback who can save this franchise. The name whispered again and again was Shedeur Sanders, Cleveland's rookie phenom, the son of prime time, a quarterback with poise, charisma, and an arm that made highlight reels feel like prophecy. One source swears Dolphins owner Stephen Ross sat transfixed watching Sanders dodge defenders in a Browns uniform, muttering only 2 words under his breath: "That's different." From that moment, Miami wasn't just considering a trade. They were declaring war on the NFL's balance of power. Personnel directors worked through the night sketching packages that dwarfed anything the league had ever seen. Multiple first-rounders, veteran starters, incentives stacked sky high. This wasn't about risk. This was about empire. In the eyes of Ross, Tua represented the past. Sanders represented the future, but not everyone in that room agreed. A small faction raised caution, pointing to the $212 million contract extension Tua had just signed, with $167 million guaranteed. Walking away from that investment, they argued, would cripple the franchise financially, but their warnings drowned beneath the tidal wave of urgency. One executive reportedly summed it up bluntly: "We either double down on a mistake, or we bet on the future." By dawn, the decision was made. Cap specialists drafted feasibility models. Scouts were told to compile exhaustive Shedeur evaluations. Even marketing directors were summoned, instructed to project how much money Sanders' name alone could generate for Miami. And make no mistake, it wasn't small. In South Beach, with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle catching passes, the Dolphins weren't just imagining touchdowns. They were imagining dollar signs. The ripple effects hit Cleveland like a grenade. Browns executives woke up to whispers, and by mid-morning, every hallway buzzed with unease. Head coach Kevin Stefanski found his staff trading nervous glances. Phones lit up with reporters asking if the rumors were real. For a franchise still scarred by decades of quarterback disasters, the idea of losing Sanders before his rookie season even ended felt like the cruelest twist yet. Inside the Browns facility, the divide was sharp. Owner Jimmy Haslam, always intoxicated by marketability, reportedly entertained the offer. He saw Sanders not just as a quarterback, but as a walking brand. But GM Andrew Berry and Stefanski were furious. In their eyes, Sanders wasn't a commodity. He was the future. Trading him, Berry allegedly told confidants, would be the ultimate betrayal of football logic in favor of business greed. Yet even they couldn't ignore the scale of Miami's rumored package. 1 defensive starter plus multiple first-round picks? For a franchise haunted by missteps, the temptation was undeniable. Through it all, Sanders remained composed. Helmet on, head down, running drills like the world wasn't collapsing around him. But teammates noticed. Veterans urged him to stay focused. Younger players whispered about what it would mean if their brightest star vanished before his rookie year was over. In Miami, the whispers exploded like a bomb. Receivers like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle privately admitted the thought of catching passes from Sanders was intoxicating. But veterans loyal to Tua bristled, calling it betrayal. The locker room fractured, half dreaming of a new era, half clinging to the leader who had carried them this far. Rival teams didn't wait for confirmation. In Buffalo, the Bills convened an emergency film session, replaying Sanders' limited tape over and over. Head coach Sean McDermott reportedly muttered, "This is not Tua. This is a nightmare if it's real." In New York, Jets executives whispered that if Sanders landed in Miami, they'd be playing for second place. What began as rumor now felt like a strategic arms race, and then came the league office. By the time reports reached Park Avenue, Commissioner Roger Goodell was personally briefed. The problem wasn't just optics, it was precedent. Rookie quarterbacks on rookie contracts weren't supposed to be tradable commodities. That was the entire point of the rookie wage scale. Yet here was Sanders, barely months into his career, at the center of the boldest pursuit in decades. Quietly, league investigators were tasked with monitoring communications, tracking potential tampering, and preparing for fallout. Publicly, the NFL stayed silent. Privately, executives admitted the league was paralyzed because this wasn't just about football. It was about money. Sanders' jersey sales already ranked among the league's best. His social media presence, supercharged by his father's cultural footprint, made him a marketing juggernaut. Insiders say corporate sponsors were already circling: sneaker deals, beverage partnerships, streaming platforms pitching docuseries. The Dolphins weren't trading for a quarterback. They were trading for an economy, and hovering above it all was one name: Deion Sanders. Primetime himself, the Hall of Famer, the father, the architect. Insiders whispered that Deion's fingerprints were all over the back channels connecting Miami to Cleveland. His connections ran deep, from Jerry Jones in Dallas to Stephen Ross in Miami. If Prime wanted leverage, all he had to do was pick up the phone. And if he whispered to his son that Miami wasn't just a football opportunity, but a cultural launch pad, who could resist? One Brown staffer said it bluntly. When Prime's in the mix, you're not negotiating with a man. You're negotiating with an empire, and so the NFL waits, caught between order and chaos. Miami acts like Sanders is already theirs, with marketing staff drafting rollout campaigns and executives working the phones like generals in a war room. Cleveland clings to hope while quietly calculating what a record-breaking return package might look like. And the league office trembles, knowing whichever way this ends, the precedent will change the NFL forever. Because when the announcement comes, if it comes, it won't just be a trade. It will be the moment the NFL shifts into a new era, one where power, money, and influence rewrite the rules of the game. Now the question is yours. Do you believe the Dolphins are reckless enough to blow up their future for Shedeur Sanders? Or is this the bold move that makes them unstoppable? Let us know what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that shake the game to its core.